What is going on, guys? Luke here from Mr. Crypto UK, bringing you another beginner video on how to get started in crypto. So, we've gone through the basics, Coinbase and CoinMarketCap over the last two videos. Let's say you've now researched different cryptos on CoinMarketCap, you've looked at the top 10, you've gone through onto the links here, you've gone through onto their website, you've read up about what they're doing, and you want to get involved in some of these, and you're like, you know what, I don't really like Bitcoin, I don't really want Bitcoin, I want to move it into Ripple, EOS, Litecoin, Cardano, so on and so on. But you want to know where do I get this? Where do I buy it? Coinbase has only 4, and yeah. It's the reason Coinbase is so popular is because you can deposit your US dollar and GBP from a bank, a debit card, credit card. It's a gateway to then lead through to the exchanges where you actually have far more dense number of cryptocurrencies to buy and sell. But you have to use Coinbase or maybe something else to get through the door and actually get hold of the sort of what you want. It's just how it works. You just got to do it. So let's say you want some Ripple here, and you want to know where to buy it. Perfect. Okay, so you obviously click through to Ripple. You've looked at the details here. You're happy with the price. It's not, it's not seen a 30-40% jump. I would say if you see a coin that says here 40% up, I would say do not buy it on that day, because most of the time, the day after, it goes down 20 or sometimes the whole amount again. You just got to be careful. As long as you've seen it, you can look on the graph here and see what it's been, where it is now, and make an educated decision. This is no way meant to be financial advice at all. This is just what I can see here, my own opinion and my own interpretation of it. So everyone's got their own opinions and everyone sees things differently. Yeah, so you want to get involved. So there's a tab here called Markets. You go ahead and click the Markets. It will take you through to here. Now, you can ignore a lot of these, the data it actually has, but what it has is names here of all the different places to pick up the cryptocurrency Ripple, which is what you want to purchase. Now, I would say for anyone starting out, you want to focus only on this exchange, Binance, because this has got the most in-depth library of cryptocurrencies to buy, and any ones that aren't on here are usually new cryptocurrencies, and they're not yet being vetted or sort of verified as being a solid project, because Binance don't want to put on every coin to find out some of them are scams or something like that. So I would say anything on Binance is reasonably decent, and you can click through to Binance and actually look at all of the different stuff that they compared to what you saw on Coinbase. Look how many different projects, coins, and tokens they actually have. It's very, very, I mean, even me, I'm looking at some of these and I've never seen them before. So that's how many you sort of come across, and you can, and you already know that Ripple's on here. You can see it's just down here. Perfect. So for this part of the video, just remember that Binance is now, if you're looking to buy and sell, apart from the ones on Coinbase, you want to use Binance. And you can go through to the link here just to make sure you go to the right place, because there are scams out there that try to divert you to a similar looking website to take your details. So you've got to be very, very careful, because you don't want to find out that someone's stolen your details and information. Now, before we actually go into how to deposit into Binance, I'm going to split this video into 2 parts because I started doing the whole thing as one, and I felt like it was going to be too complicated for anyone watching the whole video to actually sort of do it with ease without getting confused. So I'm going to split it into 2 parts. About how, first part of this video be how to move it from your Coinbase account, your Bitcoin or your US dollar or whichever currency you're using, to move it out of that exchange to, say, Binance, rather than doing the whole thing and showing you once it's in Binance and what to do. So I'll do that in 2 parts. But just for this, we remember that we will eventually be sending to Binance, because this is the Amazon of shops on the crypto market where you can buy the most, and it's easy and easy free. So we've been to Coinbase and we have our Bitcoin sitting in our account, and we want to get it to Binance. Is what we want to do. Now, before we just send to Binance or something like that, there are fees attributed to sending to Binance. So when you send to one exchange to another, you can see here Binance have fees as well. When you are buying and selling things within Binance, there's still fees. There are fees attached to any transaction most of the time, even if it's within the same exchange, such as Coinbase and Binance. So you have to be very careful not to be moving, buying and selling too often if you've only got a finite amount of funds on Bitcoin in there, because you actually lose a little bit every time. So you just need to be wary of that. The cheapest way to get it out of Coinbase is to actually move it through GDAX. Now, it's not very complicated, but for anyone starting out as only seeing Coinbase, you will think, okay, I've just been introduced to Binance and now I'm being introduced to GDAX. Okay, so what is GDAX? Why do I need to use it? Why can't I just send it from Coinbase? Now, you can send it directly from Coinbase. But the problem is that there will be fees, and you want to try to keep your fees down, because over time, the more fees, you'll see there's fees everywhere. And to reduce these fees and save you your money, basically. And actually, GDAX is a sister company or sister site, the easiest way to remember it, of Coinbase. It is just a slightly different, it's a slightly more advanced Coinbase in a way. You can actually do day trading on that, which is where you're buying low and selling high on the same day and putting in orders to buy and sell. But we'll go through that in a completely different video. That's a little bit more intermediate to advanced. You don't really need to even know that that's something you can do on GDAX. You just want to use GDAX as a way of getting it out to Binance and having no fees. That's ultimately it. So this is how you do it. So you would sign up if you haven't got a Coinbase account. And I think once you've got a Coinbase account, well, when I did it, you can just sign in with your Coinbase details. So I'm going to go ahead and just sign in. My details here are the same as on Coinbase. I have it saved automatically because I don't actually use it that often, so it's fine. And when you go into GDAX, as long as you use your Coinbase, make sure you use the same Coinbase login as you use for GDAX. Just log in with your Coinbase details. You'll come into here. Now, you do not need to look at these numbers and all that and this graph. It's this is something that we will go through in another video. You just want to look on the left column here at what's going on. So what we want to do ultimately is withdraw from GDAX to Binance. Now, it's not, our money isn't in Binance, where it's in Coinbase still. So we need to get it out of Coinbase into GDAX. So how do we do that? Well, it's very simple. You can ignore everything to the right of this cursor. You just want to see these two tabs. So we want to actually deposit. You can click the deposit. It will come up with here. It's very, very simple. You can understand. Now, obviously, I have nothing in my Coinbase account, so I'm just going to explain rather than show. But you can see up here that there is deposit funds, and it will have Coinbase account. So as long as you logged in with the same details as your Coinbase account, and you have some Bitcoin, say, or pounds even, you can even just keep it in pounds. You want to then move it from there into GDAX. So you would choose from Coinbase account here. You click the drop down, and you would either have GBP, because you haven't bought any crypto, or you're looking to put more in to move it, or you're going to select Bitcoin. Let's say you bought Bitcoin last week, you've watched how everything is working, you've researched some more cryptos, and you want to get involved with now Ripple, and you want to move your Bitcoin to buy the Ripple. So you would select your Bitcoin address, which would then have an amount here of how much you've got, and you would then just enter this amount here exactly the same. Let's say you had one Bitcoin and you want to put in with one Bitcoin to GDAX deposit. You click then deposit funds, and it will move your funds from Coinbase, because you can see over here you've selected Coinbase, and it will then appear here. in your balance in GDAX. Completely free, no fees. You've just moved it from one to the other because they're, in theory, the same company, the same site. You're just moving it internally. You now want to actually move your Bitcoin here, which will appear here, to Binance, because that's ultimately where I've told you you can buy Ripple and all the other cryptocurrencies that are popular. So you would go ahead and click then the withdraw, and it would then come up here, withdraw funds. Now, just to clarify, you do not want to withdraw funds to your Coinbase account, because that would just be putting it back into Coinbase from GDAX. So you have to be very, very careful. And if you did by accident move it to your Coinbase account, you can just move it back and start again. There won't be any fees. As you can see here, Coinbase transfers are instant and free. So if you're moving it to and from Coinbase to GDAX, it's free anyway. So if you made a mistake and you did accidentally send it back to Coinbase, you can just send it. You can just deposit it back into your GDAX. That's fine. Now it will come up with an amount and all that here, but you actually want to look at this bit, BTC address. So you want to withdraw your Bitcoin that you have in your GDAX into another Bitcoin address. Now, what I just want to quickly say before I finish the video, because this is just the first part, is that if you have Bitcoin, which you would if you were now wanting to send, you have to send it to a opposite or another Bitcoin address. You don't want to be sending Bitcoin to a Ripple address or Bitcoin to a Litecoin address. You don't want to be sending one currency or one crypto to another, thinking that it will convert it on the way, because it does not convert it. So whenever you are withdrawing or depositing, you have to make sure that you use the same each side of the transaction. Because if you accidentally send your Bitcoin to another cryptocurrency's deposit account, you will lose it, because it's not compatible, is what happens. So if you're withdrawing funds, you have to withdraw your Bitcoin to a Bitcoin, or if you have Litecoin, you need to send it to a Litecoin, or if you have Ethereum, you have to send it to an Ethereum. And if you have Ethereum or Bitcoin or whatever one you have, and you want to convert it to another one, you have to actually do that within the exchange itself, and you can't convert it by sending it somewhere else. That is a little bit confusing, I know. So you might want to watch that back just to clarify what I've said. But basically, you just want to send one currency to its same currency somewhere else. You don't want to be doing anything in between. You don't want to be cross-referencing them, and it would just cause a lot of pain. So you just want to send Bitcoin. We're only starting with Bitcoin to another Bitcoin address. You would then type in the amounts that you want to send, or max if you just want to send it all, and you would enter here a Bitcoin address, just like you would be sending it to a letter to a house. Obviously, it's a specific address only attributed to that person somewhere else, and that would be how it would be done. And also here, two-step verification is there. So if someone did hack into your account and was looking to send your Bitcoin to their own address, they would have to do this, and you would then get the text on your phone, or you can do it through Google Authenticator, depending on your process that you've selected. So that's a little bit of extra security. And you can see here, Bitcoin transfer is free. That's what we were doing this for. So this whole process is just so that you don't have to pay. Because if we send now to our Bitcoin address on Binance, let's say that we wanted to send here. This is clearly where I've sent some money before. It's free. So we will send and receive the exact same amount of Bitcoin. If we were on Coinbase and we were doing this same process on Coinbase, we would actually have receive on the other end less Bitcoin, because there would be a charge. And that is ultimately why we were going through GDAX. So yes, it is a little confusing moving it to GDAX and then sending it from GDAX, but there will be no fees. And the more money you send, the higher the fees actually are. So there is not economies of scale when sending. And I will show the other part of this video, the actual process of moving it from here to Binance and then purchasing some Ripple once we're on Binance. But that will be in a two-parter because I feel adding it on to this video is just going to be a little too complex for one video. So thanks for watching. If you can smash the thumbs up, comment anything you want clarification on. Maybe I've gone a little bit too advanced for the beginners. It is a little bit more advanced, so obviously just standing up with Coinbase. That is, you know, if you really want to get involved in this area, you have to get used to this. And once you've done it, it doesn't keep getting more advanced and more advanced and more advanced. Once you're at an intermediate stage, you can stay at that stage and do a lot of stuff. So yeah, subscribe if you already haven't for another great video tomorrow. And this will be tomorrow's video will be the part 2 of this video. So yeah, thanks for watching. Goodbye.